Hey YouTube, I'm back and I'm finally doing another makeup tutorial because it's been a really long time since I've actually done a full makeup tutorial. This is kind of like a more elevated version of what I do from day to day. I got the Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay. So I'm really loving this color here called Trick. I find that this color looks good in almost every complexion, so yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is moisturize. I'm not wearing any makeup. I definitely need to drink more water. And I have these really bad under eye bags, but I'll show you how to correct them. I've always had discoloration underneath my eyes. So I use this Nail Repair Intensive Ampoule. I use it also at night. It's not actually crushed up snails. It's the snail mucus. You can see it's like a very viscous thing. So just add like a drop size amount. And I put some into my neck too. So I'm going to start off with a really nice neutral. This is the Sonia Kashuk Ion Neutral palette. I love these two shades. I like to blend them together and then just place it all over the lid. And I already have my Urban Decay Primer Potion on. I'm going to start building the color. So next I'm going to use this peach and this pink shade. And I'm just going to tap into each color and just apply. So next I'm going to take my Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay and I'm going to go with this Nooner shade. It's a shade right here. Next I'm going to take my Sonia palette again and go in with this dark shade. And I'm just going to mix it in with the shade on top. Tap off excess. Then I'm going to take a tissue, put it under my eye. This just shields the under eye area from darker shadows on top, and also because I'm wearing eye cream. If you get eyeshadow on the eye cream, it gets really messy. And work in that color on the outer crease. This is my Viseart palette. This is the dark matte palette. If you want to splurge on an eyeshadow palette, make sure you get the Viseart ones because they're just so finely milled and they're around 80 bucks at Sephora. Like Sephora just started carrying them. For pros, they're around like $50 or $55, but a little goes a long way. So these palettes will last you quite a long time and they have a good range of color. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna just add some more depth into that outer crease. I'm gonna take this chocolate brown with a MAC 217 brush, and again with this piece of paper, I'm just gonna concentrate on that outer corner. Blend it out with this Cozzette S175 brush. I just spritzed my flat eyeshadow brush with the Inglot makeup fixer. And I'm just gonna take my Naked 3 palette and dip it into Trick. That sounds really wrong. I'm just gonna place it on the lid. And what the makeup fixer will do is it bonds the glittery eyeshadow and just makes it a lot more vibrant on your eye. And it also helps you control it because otherwise you might just get glitter all over the place. Okay, so I've also added some eyeliner on my waterline, inner corners, and the top waterline just to add more drama. So brush like this. This is the MAC 219 brush. And going in with that Viseart chocolate brown color. And I'm just gonna add it to the outer corners of my eye. Okay, so I like elongating my eyes, so what I did was I took my Sonia palette, and with this matte black shade with the 219, and I just added it on the outer corners, just so to define that part of my eyes. Since I've done my last tutorial, I like the look of a thicker eyebrow now, so I'm going to take my Anastasia Granite Brow Powder Duo. This is the shade on... The shade here is way too dark, so I go with this lighter shade. I have really dark hair, I have black hair, so even this is too dark for me, so I just go with this Granite shade. So first I take a brow brush like this one from Sephora, it's a brow comb, and I just lift up the hairs. And then I take an angled brush like this from Makeup Designer, it's the 210S brush, and I dip it into here. And then I just fill in the line. I start from the outer part, and then I just fill it in softly. I do really light strokes. Then I brush down, and then I see if there are any gaps here. And then I just tap in the color. So this one is already slightly thicker than this one. I'm just going to keep on filling this one in. And you want to take lighter strokes around here and then darker ones out here so you have a more defined arch. Because if you do it too much over here, then you look angry all the time. If you do make mistakes, just take a Q-tip and then just rub it. And if you add too much, then just take this side of the brush and then just rub it out. So we got this eyebrow versus this eyebrow. My eyebrows are naturally quite thin. Okay, so I also added some from my Viseart palette. I added this cream color and just added to the inner corners using a Q-tip. So what I've done is I've taken my L'Oreal, the Super Slim 24-hour Infallible. It's a really fine point, it has a really fine point tip, and it's great for doing cat eyes. I just drew it out. First I took this and I went to the outer corner of my nose and the outer corner of my eye, and I just lined them up so I could get a good angle. And then I just traced it down like this, and then from that fine line I drew this thicker one over the outer part of my eyelid, and then I just traced it all in. So as you can see, I have really bad under eye circles. I don't get that much sleep. I have a love affair with coffee, and I generally don't drink enough water. Good thing we have color correcting concealers. So first I use eye cream. I'm really loving a lot of Korean beauty products. I went to Peach and Lily at the Macy's in Queens, New York. They have like a standalone store there. And I got this Creamer Lab eye cream. It's really good, and it just like really moistures. It really seeps into your skin, and I just like tap it in with my ring finger. So my other favorite product for under eye circles is the Makeup Forever 5 Camouflage Cream Palette. The orange, which is good for canceling out purple. It's also good if you have African American skin. It's good for getting rid of, just to brighten up the under eye area. Purple, which is good for brightness. Generally if you have like a dull complexion, it's really good. I also have other stuff. Okay, so green is good for canceling out redness, and then they have these two kind of contouring shade, and then a lightener, like a bright shade. My little scraper. And I'm just gonna grab some of that orange. And then just put it on that under eye area. I'm not putting it on this area, I'm just applying it to the area that looks very purple. Just applying it to the circle itself. I know right now it looks a lot worse than it is, but once you go over with your actual concealer, it'll look good. Still looking crazy, but already you can tell it looks a lot brighter. You can actually see some of the eye makeup. So I'm taking my Sonia Kashuk 03 Sand All Cover Up Concealer. It's a really nice creamy concealer. And this I'm just going to apply like in the normal V shape. And already you can see that area is already brightening up. You can see the difference that two-step concealer process is doing. So this is without anything on, and this is with the orange concealer underneath with the regular concealer on top. And the key to color correcting is make sure you apply it to the problem areas only. If you apply it to the problem areas and around, it's great for the problem areas, but around you're just like adding that color, and it just doesn't look balanced. And I'm just gonna take a wet beauty blender and just tap under my under eye area. And I'm also prone to creasing, so this just helps blend it in better. If you have under eye creases, I naturally do. I've had them since I was young, so ever since I was a kid, really. The best thing to do is to use a lot of moisturizer, like eye creams, and less is more. And it's better to use a non-drying translucent powder when you're finishing off that area. So I like RCMA No Color Powder, and the Bent Eye one is pretty good too. I find the Makeup Forever HD powder to be a little bit drying sometimes, and the Laura Mercier one, which I used to use all the time, is also a bit drying. So yeah, less is more for that area. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my foundation. I'm using this Tom Ford, the O2 brush. It's amazing. You can get it at Neiman Marcus. It's a bit pricey, it's around $70, but it gives you that really nice airbrush finish, and it's just so soft. It's made of goat hair. So I'm just gonna apply my foundation, and it leaves no brush marks, like a lot of foundation brushes do. I've applied my false eyelashes, and now I'm going to apply my powder. So this is the Ben Nye Neutral Set Colorless Powder, and it comes in like a little salt shaker, and it comes out like one too. My MAC 188 brush. I just apply it right underneath the eyelid. Benefit Hoola bronzer with a MAC 169 brush. Using my Burberry Blossom brush. It's like that. And I'm using my Hakuhodo brush. This is so soft. So I couldn't really decide what to do for the lips, so I just ended up taking a lip liner like this one. This is the Annabelle lip liner in Spice, and it's just like a dark brown. I lined my lips with it, and I also applied it as like a lip color. I just kept it like that because I like keeping it matte, because if I used a gloss it would compete with the shininess of the eyelid color. I like using a fan brush for this technique because it's a small brush, you don't apply too much product so you don't overdo it. So I'm just going to take the middle shade and blend it in with this shade. I'm just going to apply it to the cheeks. And it just makes that area just look so much lighter. Okay, so that's the finished look, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks, bye.